Blessings, everyone, and welcome to Presence. Let's jump into it because I'm very excited about this topic. Those of you who are familiar with my work know that I've been teaching this since 2011, thereabouts, and it's morphing and changing and turning into something new. So here we go into Divine Neutrality. This is a mastery level event, so we do stay focused. The light letter is the best way to stay in the loop and stay connected to our community and to what I have to offer. It comes out every week. If you haven't signed up, please do so. We hold 3 global Sunday Unity meditations every Sunday for 8 years now. They happen offline. Please visit ascensionpath.com/unity for all the details. During the presentation, please take notes. This is a wide open conduit for everyone. The field gets very amplified, and you can get a lot of insights and a lot of guidance for your own personal journey. So we are in co-creation mode. So honor the whole and qualify your experience for everyone. Pay attention. We do pause for activations in the field. So please stay attuned to the Christ frequency that's flowing in the field. So out of the infinite love light intelligence that is source, energy starts to compress for creations and experiences through magnetic fields. So magnetic fields are built to support a certain experience, right? So if we align with a higher field, we change the experience. That's ascension from one field to another, from one state of beingness to another, one vibration, realm, frequency to a higher one, like the Christed field, the new earth realms. So this is your heart as your source, generator, and developer of organic life. The heart attracts, receives light intelligence, and when you change the way that happens, when you change the heart center to operate in divine magnetics that do not distort frequency or don't get entangled with other magnetic fields and other intentions, when they don't distort, when your heart doesn't distort pure source love light intelligence any longer, your heart starts to attract more self-organizing divine light into your life stream. In order to attract more of the I am presence, you, your highest Christed self, your highest I am presence, where all is unified. In order to attract more of that, the source love light intelligence, the infinite creator, more cosmic mother plasma, and the new harmonics and the new frequencies, we create the magnetic conditions through practices such as divine neutrality. So divine neutrality, by definition, is a core mastery skill which develops discernment of truth, deep inner peace, clarity of thought, word, feeling, and action. This practice frees us from dualistic constructs and denser vibrational realms. So divine neutrality actually creates energetic changes in our fields and our consciousness, and it transforms the lower constructs, mind, ego, emotions, all those denser magnetics to produce, starts training them to produce the organic ascension experience. So divine neutrality supports this vital step in ascension of activation of the heart center and changing our heart magnetics, which then changes our DNA, changes our fields. It all happens from the inside out, right? And our light body to flow this pure source love light intelligence through 0 point, through the heart, and then it creates a different reality. And for those of you who are aligning with that and starting to feel it is radically different, right? Unity consciousness is a radically different state. Christ consciousness is a radically different state. So as we pursue self-realization, divine neutrality can assist with balance and integration of the power of the I am presence, which can be quite overwhelming. So divine neutrality actually assists us in maintaining balance so we don't get spun off, we don't leave our lower consciousness too soon, and then we're often in the higher realms. And our whole purpose is to have the experience through the body, not leave it or burn it out. So from a heart activated in divine magnetics, we may implement the cosmic law of oneness, love, and freedom. Huge focus on freedom right now. The I am presence is then free to express source-informed realities, source-informed realities, as opposed to trauma-informed realities or dense dualistic informed realities, right through our beingness. So we actually become a generator of the new reality. Now, we lose Christ presence power when we distort our energy through judgment, fear, conflict, engagement in duality, or entanglement with lower influence. So divine neutrality allows us to change the way our body and consciousness interpret that light intelligence. We become a pure conduit of the I am presence, of that source flow, of that love line intelligence and the organic ascension. And divine neutrality actually, I love this. It compels the light flowing through our heart and fields to behave differently, to obey the I am presence as opposed to the lower consciousness. So as we pursue self-realization, divine neutrality assists with this balance. In pure unity consciousness, we experience this intense state of divine love that does not judge. It's very neutral. So practicing that divine neutrality helps to attune our crystalline structures, DNA, and our hearts to this state. So we stand in that God source presence that is eternal love, knows only love, light, intelligence, inclusive, wise, that seeks expansion and infinite possibilities and creation. And this, of course, assists with the divine alchemy of presence, with the union, right, with the I am presence. And it also assists with shifting from one realm to the other, from density to divinely neutral conductor of the light. You get out of the way, right, and allow the light to be the thing, allow love source to be the presence right through you. But in order to free ourselves from entanglement and duality, we increase the source love light and 0-point energies that corrects distortions. And then with practice, changes occur within the heart and magnetics to consistently create positive outcomes, consistently creating unity consciousness, which means we're going to transcend time-space dynamics based on duality and access 0-point, the miracle zone, right? Where miracles can occur, they happen right through us. So we may witness challenges without embodying fear, without embodying external activity or even the traps of our own mind, right? We won't be embodying that any longer. So we can witness and appreciate what is happening, positive or negative, or no matter what it looks like, without embodying all of the emotion and the thought form and the influence of those lower realities, those lower vibrational experiences. So we do become more fluid as things change through the practice of divine neutrality. We become more wave-like and into the realm of that infinite possibility state that we've been working on all year. So this present state that's consistently connected to source allows us to be pliable during the acceleration, flexible. All of us need to make changes and make higher choices faster during this acceleration. Otherwise, you feel like you just kind of get run over by what's happening, or you're just witnessing it and you feel a little frozen, right? There's a lot of people just kind of freezing. So we can be on point, focused, and in divine neutrality completely capable of listening, of choosing, of discerning, and being of service without judgment or the need to control situations. We are vast, multidimensional beings, beloveds. We cannot integrate strong reconnection with the I Am presence through the lower mind alone. We must allow the higher presence to influence our mind and our emotions and our creations, our expression and our ascension. A lot of surrender there, right? Divine neutrality opens this expanded perspective on our lives, on our relationships, on the changes in monads and soul groups that's happening right now, as well as perspective on collective experiences. So through activating this divine sovereignty of the heart and the mind, we may change how the light is interpreted through our consciousness, open to divine wisdom, and navigate moment-to-moment choices which produce positive outcomes, both personally and collectively. Quite frankly, we just show humanity what is possible with ascension. Beautiful. Divine neutrality practices, which we will get into in detail through this presentation, the benefits, I just want to go over the benefits first, because if we can keep our eyes on the prize and realize, like, oh, that I'm doing that. I am that now. I am in that state of consciousness. I'm witnessing that in my journey. That assists us in getting excited about the change and amplifying that change. And okay, I'm going to do more of that because I feel it working, or witness my reality starting to autocorrect. I feel my heart changing, and during the influxes and the geostorms, you feel your heart magnetics starting to change. And so when you kind of witness or have a little checklist of the benefits, you can go, yes, experiencing, well, maybe I could work on that, or heart intention, right? I would love to experience that. So, primary benefit transforms the magnetics of the heart center. And I love, just a personal aside, that even though divine neutrality has been on the Ascension menu and teachings and part of the foundations for a while, I love that it's now supporting the change in heart magnetics in such a beautiful way. So we kind of shift the divine neutrality practice to keep up with the shift, but also to really support this change. So it's like, oh, just divine timing, really, with all of this. Okay, so it transforms the magnetics of the heart center, activates waveform fluidity. Really focus on that. Feel it. And adaptability during the acceleration of revelation and cosmic light that we are experiencing in this now. Less particle, more wave. This makes us more capable of change, more fluid as the acceleration of events and energies increase. It's like a muscle. We train our heart to be in optimal Christ condition during this phase, and you're going to feel it. You're going to feel like you're no longer hammered by the energy. It's like, oh, I'm actually less dense. I'm able to flow with this. I'm able to receive and transmit this new light. It liberates the mind and body to experience ascension. So neutrality completely disarms duality's influence on our consciousness and experience. We care, but we don't carry. With conscious practice, we free ourselves from duality and making negative situations worse through judgment and separation, because that's on the outs, right? That's what's getting really hit hard right now. So freedom, liberation of the mind and the ego and the emotions from entanglement with certain outcomes, or duality itself, or making negative situations worse with your lower focus, etc. It's a very strong benefit of practicing divine neutrality. It's also freedom from judgment, duality, and separation, helps us make wiser decisions, disengage from even judging, or reinforcing negative agendas, like I just said, amplifying that cosmic perspective and solutions rather than conflict, right? So it amplifies collective solutions and actions, activating cosmic perspective, which sees all paths to ascension, sees all paths to highest solutions. It's there. That's part of our higher levels. That's part of being and embodying the Christ presence and the I am presence. That self-corrects distortions. So if you're noticing that, that is also a benefit of divine neutrality. Increasing 0 point energies, that self-correct distortions, and literally creates our ascension experience. Another benefit is this helps us navigate choices that lead to positive outcomes. With practice, this really goes on autopilot. Discernment in the moment, easier to engage with effective activism, right? Not fighting for a cause, but rather creating peaceful, unified solutions which benefit the whole, really seeing the whole picture rather than zeroing in on some kind of egoic or collective lower outcome or need to do something. So it really strengthens the ability to stand in your own light, speak from the heart rather than flee or freeze, hide, or conform out of fear. It also supports telepathy and higher realm connection. Really noticed this during my time on Mount Shasta when I was out there in the wilderness. It really trained me how to make a stronger connection with higher realm beings that are already in that state. It strengthens our Stargate abilities. I've really noticed that too. Greatly increased by being a pure, unpolarized Christ conduit. And it also supports passing through Ascension Stargates, which is our trajectory, beloveds. You know, we're going to be passing through many of these pure, organic, very, very strong Ascension Stargates. That's literal Stargates, right? They're not grounded on the planet. We're talking about cosmic passages where the entire solar system is going through these unique Stargates, as well as the galactic level, universal level is going to pass through organic ascension Stargates. And if you have a neutral heart that's capable of receiving new light, new energy that that are unknown, completely unknown to the body vehicle, you can traverse and pass through these stargates easily, ease and grace. You know, Yeshua's advice to be neutral and open and innocent, unbothered by past imprints, the present, or even future trajectories, right? Really being in that state. That's what it's all about. It allows us to glide through these different levels of Stargate energies, but also the literal thing that happens during ascension, right? You passing through levels of consciousness, your own consciousness, and the I am presence to allow the Christed state, right? The Christ consciousness, your Christed self is that go-to. It is that state of consciousness that allows you to kind of glide into these new realm experiences. Divine neutrality also balances the emotions and mind, transmuting self-judgment and addictions and habits that do not serve us, right? So we transmute the flotsam of dense New Age beliefs. There, I said it, superstitions, religion, politics, systems, beliefs, all of the dense stuff that got us to the point where we are now. If you've worked with me, if you worked with Level Up or the Mastery Intensive, where we practice transmuting things with Christ light intelligence, that gets so easy to do. And by practicing divine neutrality, it supports that practice where we can consistently transmute the things that no longer serve us or the collective, And divine neutrality also helps with overwhelm and anxiety, because you're going to change the magnetics of the heart center so that stuff flows rather than hitting denser forms and making you anxious or fearful, not through suppression, but through the calming force of source and the Christ light that transmutes all those, let's say, negative habits, uncomplimentary habits or addictions or patterns that are stored within or memorized by the body and the mind and the emotions. So it also cultivates self-realization and unity consciousness so that we can actually experience self-realization, that self as source state. And you really start to feel consistently the infinite creator source having an experience right through you, kind of witnessing everything right through you and feeling your own experience, right? It's just information gets fed back to source, but the more source energy that comes through you, it really deepens the experience of the I am presence as active, living, love light intelligence, so we can feel our I am presence as palpable, living light. Palpable living light intelligence, just an example, is masters, star families that are vibrating at the level of Christ consciousness, unity consciousness is, again, a very different state of beingness. And that's actually how I received this all the method and the practice and even the term divine neutrality, because I was interacting with these higher realm beings, and their presence was, it's very much the definition of mastery. Mastery is the ability to allow others to see and feel their own light in your presence. And I was feeling that. And there was even, throughout my journey, the last 20 years especially, where things were coming up or whatever, they were just so divinely neutral about interacting with me. Nobody was trying to smother me with energies or anything like that. But even when I brought the questions to the table, when I wanted higher skills, more telepathy, more interaction, wanted to be a clear conduit, they were like, this is what you're going to have to practice so you can interact with us in this state. And I've noticed they're in that natural state of pure consciousness, divine presence, right? They don't judge my journey. They see my true self beyond the veils, not what I am becoming, not what I will be. They see my Christed presence right now, who I am, my experience as a fractal of source, as a fractal of the infinite creator. They have that perspective. They know ascension is the ultimate outcome, and they're neutral, free, just divine presence, right? They've got it on. So we use this divine neutrality practice to attune ourselves to this clarity of purpose, this focus on the organic ascension of all life, to listen rather than react, to witness rather than get entangled, to see the divinity in ourselves and allow others to see it in our presence. And I've also noticed with even like beings that are attempting higher consciousness or have higher consciousness, you'll notice it with kingdoms, elementals, even Sasquatch type beings. Telepathic training means not bringing your lower things to tables, to the interaction, because as that Christ consciousness comes on, you see and feel a lot more. You're able to read the field, you feel a lot more. And for empaths, practicing divine neutrality will get you out of that state where you feel like you have to shield yourself or protect yourself all the time. You won't be embodying other people's energies or thought forms or whatever, because you're staying neutral, and it just whoosh, there's nothing for it to stick to in your field or in your consciousness any longer. So I'm writing this book about divine neutrality, and it contains a lot of extra material and things that I obviously cannot put in a 2-hour presentation on divine neutrality. There's a big section. It's just to catch people up with the ascension process, what ascension is, how it changes us, what's involved. And then there's also this section on the end of duality, so that people completely comprehend why do I have to practice this at all? It's for folks who haven't embraced or haven't felt the call to embrace ascension or self-realization. It's like, hey, by the way, your old reality is going away. So the end of duality, transcending what was, involved, duality involved that negative polarization, fear, judgment, control, duality, which literally limits and decays pure life force and decays the flow, constricts the flow of life force. All is love, all is light. Density is created because you literally decay those qualities that we're always going through, right? Qualities of love, light, intelligence get decayed by judgment, fear, control, all the things that we used to experience in duality and density. Distortions literally cannot be sustained in the new light. That is why we're watching collapse, dismantling, la, la, la. It is what it is. So wavering on choices during this time, or fearing outcomes, certain outcomes, or negativity, or that wavering state, like I'm not fully there yet, I'm going to wait until I'm really forced to leave duality. That is not the place you want to be. It has long-term consequences on your journey. So do not delay your choice to be love in these realms, and just kind of review, kind of feel the cost on your soul's journey of putting it off one more day, one more week. I'm not going to resolve that conflict until I'm really pushed, or the light's going to do it for me, or whatever. You are the generator of that light, beloved. So it either does a number on you, or you change the way your heart intelligence operates. So negativity literally runs out of energy. Those lower realms can't create themselves anymore. Because it's not creator force, it's contraction. It's not an expansive creative force. And it will self-destruct in the new light. And I, for one, do not want that to happen to my brothers and sisters. It leads to madness and emotional breakdowns and all kinds of illness in the body. A couple of notes on what divine neutrality is not before we get into the multitude of practices that are provided here. Divine neutrality is not emotional clearing. It's not emotional clearing. It's not emotional clearing. It's not the beginner foundational steps of finding the cause and the core and the record and the effect and all memory of it, and soul contracts and agreements, that kind of searching for why I do things the way I do, why my soul group, blah, blah, blah. All of that is foundational to your ascension process. This is a mastery class, beloveds. So divine neutrality is not a foundational step. If you try to apply divine neutrality to avoid that level, you can't. Your foundation has to be built on love and clarity in order for this ascension to work. So no bypassing, beloveds. It's not about walking away or avoiding, dissociating, or withdrawing from external realities. It's not a way to filter the external or the internal world. It's not about opting out of choices that require attention. It's not about opting out of lessons or healing experiences, right? That's not what this is about. And it's not about avoiding action in the highest interests of all concerned. When action needs to be taken, you're there, you're present with the situation with a completely different magnetic and heart center in the now. So that's what divine neutrality is not. Let's move in to how to practice. Now, I do have a lot of practices. This is how this presentation is structured. A whole lot of practices. Take notes. practices, and then we're going to walk through how to practice in the moment, walk through how to get into divine neutrality with challenges, hard situations, harder choices, because that's really, really needed, because there's a lot presenting in all of our life streams as duality gets dismantled. And then I want to go into our group activation. Beautiful. So, beloveds, we are in a time of rapid revelation where personal and collective choices become clear. While this may provide uncomfortable situations and choices, it also presents an opportunity for growth. We're really going to have to embrace that. Keeping in heart that we care, but we don't carry. This is moment by moment practices. When you are faced with a situation or you're feeling something, you need to make a higher choice, because the heart magnetics is the thing. You want to change the way the body interprets light, the way the heart can open and expand so that it self-corrects, activates the DNA, etc., changes the field. So holding, again, a foundational thing besides the emotional clearing is the core for your intention, the core intention for your ascension, which is part of that mastery evaluation I'm always sharing. What is the core intention for my ascension? What would I like to experience? You kind of hold that in heart as you walk through all these divine neutrality practices, because that is foundational. So daily ascension practices, setting the field for highest outcomes, using your ascension practices, everything that you've learned and your tools, practice them. Don't just say, oh, I learned that once and now it's over here. But you're really going to have to employ them as we walk through this. A lot of you feeling a lot more freedom. So meditation, time in nature, all the basics, movement, journaling, gratitude, decrees, connecting to the heart presence first thing, the sun first thing, all of those consistent ascension practices kind of set the field for divine neutrality to be effective as you walk through your moment to moment. Really align with the present, being in the moment, the active state of the Christ, not putting off a desired reality or a choice point for an event down the line. I know there's still a lot of talk about events and someday or coming soon or whatever. We have to realize that we are creating this, co-creating this with our higher levels, with the Christed ones, with the highest orders of light, with all the different components that are involved in creating the experience of the organic ascension of Gaia and all of her life. So the more we can align with being in the present moment, what is now, what is here, what is moment to moment, really benefits practicing divine neutrality. Another practice is heart intention, really training your heart to be synchronized with source, synchronized with the I am present. So really keeping that heart intention. What are your source informed priorities as you walk through your day? How can I bring more love, more light, more unity to these realms? So when you really hold that heart intention, that starts to change your heart magnetics so that more of the presence can flow through. Walking the middle path. This is classic. And if any of you are comparing divine neutrality to stoicism or renunciation or non-duality, it's different. Remember, this is like evolving, changing, keeping up with our ascension. It's not about opting out. It's not about not feeling anything, because the feeling state changes to the I am presence feeling state. In order to get there, we walk the middle path, witness rather than react, beloveds, especially if you're on online social media, dealing with groups, dealing with people, if you're not a total hermit at this point, witnessing rather than reacting and choosing that middle path. It just brings you back to center, non-judgment, compassion, moment by moment. Stand open in your divinity. So try not to contract when things happen, kind of walking that middle path, being a witness, but not embodying these things. So embracing differences is a perfect practice, especially during this time when duality seems amplified, or the external can really be throwing a lot of polarity around. It is changing. There's a lot of light and a lot of light changing outcomes right now. So really embrace differences rather than rejecting people or saying, shielding yourself from the external. Like, wow, really witness from that I am state, understanding that everyone is following their unique soul path. So hold compassion, that cosmic mother level of compassion. My children, all of creation, all is one, and really respect those who make different choices, right? They have a different journey. It is what it is, right? That's how you get to neutrality. These are all practices for how you get to divine neutrality, really embracing differences. Like, I can see how a consciousness would want to walk that path. Okay, just observing and embracing that there are different levels of consciousness in source itself, right? In the whole. Parenting the lower levels has been name of the game for a while. But really transforming those subconscious patterns. You're going to notice the light during the acceleration really throws things out of the subconscious. So transforming subconscious patterns, body consciousness memorizes, pardon me, patterns, habits, thoughts, comforts, beliefs, ways of walking through the energy. The body is designed to ascend through our I am presence. That's how it works. Parent, we, responsible for our consciousness, parent the lower levels, that's ego, mind, emotions, into neutrality so that they may be free to support and change with the new light, right? Releasing lower level control and identity. Last 3 years since the I am presence activations have been really stepping forth for a lot of us. You're going to feel that the loss of identity. However, sometimes patterns that are memorized in the body can, get a little trigger, get a little stimulated. It is up to us in our divine consciousness to go, okay, thank you, but no thank you. Pause and realign. This is huge. Pause and realign. Pause, feel. Don't reject it as bad. Don't reject it as, oh, I'm not supposed to feel that anymore. Shh, pause, feel, shift to the neutral heart. The neutral heart is your natural state of flow, of source, love, light, intelligence, its presence, right? Amplify the light in your fields and body. Train the flows to go back into balance, and you'll feel it. The more sensitive you get, you'll feel your meridians and your fields like going a little static, going a little dualistic. If you're paused and realigned, you'll feel, okay, we're doing this now. We're setting forth the light out of the heart, right? Purity, divinity. And you can do that by consistently pausing and realigning when you feel that, to get the body, energies, consciousness, again, lower levels, back into ease and grace. Stop fighting the light, right? Stop creating distortion, right? And you parent that and use all kinds of decrees and everything in the moment, whatever it is that you need. Beautiful. Another tip, embrace discomfort. A lot of people don't like that. But if you can embrace discomfort, and again, the I am presence, the Christ itself has a different perspective. So you're going to feel it the more you practice with that. It's like a little witness observer state, but you're still in the body. You're still connected to the consciousness, and it has to change. So you're like, okay, I'm experiencing discomfort, whatever it is. Embrace the discomfort you feel, situation, circumstance, right? Which you are none, you are not your circumstances, but it obviously is an experience presenting for what? You, a collective, whatever it is that's going on. Don't just throw it on the collective blame thrower, right? It's a lot. You are that, right? We are the collective. So here we go. Embracing the discomfort you feel so that you can learn from it. So make no assumptions about circumstance or purpose. See what others need. See what other people want in the moment, right? Embrace that it's a little uncomfortable. Okay, I'm witnessing that this person wants something that's different from what I want, et cetera, et cetera. But you really have to like embrace it in the moment, because if you keep rejecting it and repressing it, you end up with all kinds of flotsam to deal with. So we polarize positive. And I shared on YouTube many years ago how to polarize positive. So you can look at my YouTube for what that's about. But polarizing positive means actualizing the truth that all is love, light, intelligence. So darkness is just weakened light, right? It's just decayed life force energy. So if we invest more energy, time, feeling, abundance, I always say, put your money where your consciousness is, right? And actions in amplifying positivity, it trains the heart to shift to that higher magnetic. It trains us to be divinely neutral about the lower stuff and allows the magnetic to change where you're consistently creating positive outcomes. So we say positive polarity. I know it seems like, oh, polarity is dualistic. It's not, right? Polarizing positive means you're actually an active conductor of positive love, light, intelligence, positive being highest outcomes at all time, infinite love, light in every situation, right? Infinite possibilities, creating the conditions for a new experience. Discernment, huge practice for divine neutrality. And our discernment changes with cosmic perspective. So viewing what is best for all concerned, applying unity consciousness properly, avoiding us versus them scenarios, normalizing non-judgment in thought, word, deed, action, posting, all interactions, all communication, right? Releasing with ease, use the thank you, but no thank you, but no thank you, right? Like it's releasing control. So these two, actually embracing discomfort, polarizing positive, discernment, and then releasing control, kind of work together as like this little harmonic. So releasing control means letting go of the need to control outcomes. That leads to discernment, truly, and trust in the collective process at this point. Ascension is inevitable, but you really want to support your own journeys so that you don't get lost, wandering at the base of Mount Meru, like, come on, let's go, right? Let's have our ascension. Witnessing source-informed decisions. So releasing the control to know what source wants or what is right in this situation. That's why a lot of psychic folks are like, how come we can't see the next thing, the next step, the next event, about, all this stuff. All that stuff is breaking down so that source can reveal this much higher thing that's happening with everybody who's activated in this I am presence connection. So focus on source-informed decisions that benefit the whole rather than being driven by personal fears. Practicing freedom and sovereignty is huge for changing the magnetics of your heart and for expressing as a divinely neutral being. You don't need to approve of all choices that people are making in the external. Simply honor them as different, not good or bad, protecting freedom of choice and the integrity of the soul's journey, supporting freedom of expression is important, even if you don't agree with what is going on. We know that the things that are trying to suppress and control can be easily dismantled. The things that are trying to keep us from talking to each other and connecting, which is impossible. That's why we practice with the Sunday Unity meditations all the time. We're like, oh, we're going to go upstairs, go to the field, right? But we know that the things that are the businesses, corporations, whatever you want to call them, that are attempting to keep people from saying everything they want to say, even little things, right, can be more quickly, more rapidly dismantled. We don't give it any collective energy whatsoever. That means you don't fuel or don't try to control other people's opinions and other people's expression of self. It is what it is. I know a lot of you work behind the scenes. That's a different story, but I'm talking about in your life stream. And even in even in the grid and gate work, everything that you do, you know that effective gate grid work, working in higher realms, is only effective when you're neutral, when you're not judging the situation, when you're being a conduit of that love light intelligence. So please protect freedom of choice, and it can come out in like the simplest ways. I had some friends, light worker friends, who were just viciously attacked a couple of months ago, and just their whole platform fell apart and everything, and people were just picking sides and judging and everything. And I have their phone number, so I texted them. I'm like, are you okay? Because I don't carry what they did or what other people said they did or what, I'm checking in heart to heart as part of the whole. Are you all right? Just kind words and compassion, regardless of whether or not you approve of, whether you put on your crown and dub it good or bad. That's not the way to be right now, because we know that energy is getting dismantled. So the less entangled you are with it, the better. More freedom, more sovereignty. Support your sisters and brothers that are making leaps and trying things, and don't complain about them trying something else or judging it like that's never going to work or whatever. It's like neutral, beloved. It's neutral. Freedom of expression. It's lovely. A very key practice. Don't embody the distortion. Witness, because I see a lot of people doing this. Fully embody narratives, just God, just swallow it and embody it. It's like, this, I'm going to make this part of my journey, right? Or just judgment. Oh, yeah, that feels good to do that. You got to get out of there, right? So don't embody the distortions of the external things that are happening. Witness personal, right? Includes your own stuff. Witness personal or collective circumstances, events, or revelations, or the narrative flips, or, oh, I thought it was going that way, now it's going this way, or, oh, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Don't embody the drama or the effects of how we get to collective highest outcomes. Everything is on the path to highest outcome now. So a lot of the things you're witnessing actually have a benefit for lessons, for healing, for revelation, etc. So just, don't embody the negative stuff, embody more the positive things, right? The pure things that are happening to the higher consciousness, that are happening, these higher realms of Gaia that are getting revealed, right? Don't embody the conflict. Stay neutral to these unfoldments. And this is all about training your heart and your consciousness to be able to parent yourself, if you're still having a hard time of embodying people's fears or embodying judgments, or I definitely know those people are wrong. You embody it, and then you're literally changing your vibration and lowering your frequency through embodying that fear. So make choices without embodying what presents. Next up. Okay, beautiful. Cosmic perspective. I know we go over this a lot in presence, but I just want to remind everyone, reheart everyone, that a little cosmic perspective goes a long way, and you train yourself rather than getting entangled with a situation, rejecting it as bad or embodying it as, yeah, that's definitely the truth. Shh. Expand, right? The heart has a natural capability to expand into presence. And the more you practice expanding to cosmic perspective, neutralizing, pause, breathe, neutralize, see beyond the surface level of events, and recognize the unfolding of a larger divine plan. And when you attune to the larger, higher energies or the more expansive thing, automatically changes your heart center, changes your DNA, changes your fields, changes your consciousness, therefore changing your outcomes, therefore creating the necessary light levels, the necessary codes and harmonics to go through ascension, stargates, go through, ascend, literally ascend into new realms of consciousness, higher realms of consciousness. So when we step back, witness yourself, step back from the entanglement, getting a little too entangled, or even if it's like uh, online activity or whatever, kind of like getting sucked in, or wow, I've really trained my body to like enjoy that dopamine hit or whatever it is, that you may be experiencing, whatever it is, step back, pause, step back from entanglement or judgment or fear, and try to see why others made their choices if you're curious, right? That helps with neutrality. Try to see their perspective and then back off to cosmic perspective, going, oh, this is actually happening. That monad's working out that soul group is working on this. Okay, beautiful. I'm going to keep my compass consistently in that state of neutrality, cosmic perspective. As I always say, don't watch it burn. Avoid fixating on destructive narratives. If you're somebody who enjoys that, you might want to break that habit. And it is just a habit, right? It's just like any addiction. You train your fields to get something out of it. Anything, right? Any kind of addiction, even if it's addiction to the destruction, you know, I pledged on a soul level a long time ago that I will never be the kind of person who celebrates somebody else's demise. And I feel that, right, just on a cellular level. Um, it's none of our business. A lot of it is none of our business if we're here to experience ascension. But you can break the pattern of kind of fixating on watching things crumble and making assumptions about, oh, that person, that group, or whatever is really going to get it, or what it is what it is, right? Instead, direct your energy toward creating the new unified reality. And beloveds, that is totally possible, not to be entangled with that destruction, right? Because it's a whole different realm that's getting destroyed right now. Our opportunity to be that higher realm being is here. It's been here for quite a while. Personal and collective narratives reveal and resolve and dissolve, and they'll get faster. That activity gets faster and faster. So instead of fixating on problems, focus on solutions, positive solutions, creative solutions. And I always say, suggest solutions or ask people, what do you feel is the solution, right? If a close friend or family or whatever is really coming after the fixating on negativity, ask them, you get them to flip their energy to the positive polarity of like, well, what's the most creative solution in this now moment? Beautiful. Another practice, clear communication, compassionate, heart-based, and direct communication in all interactions supports and amplifies that divinely neutral state that allows the heart to change. Be present and qualify your emanations. We always say qualify, right? Which just means infuse them with pure intention, right? Infuse them with what is my core intention to experience. Am I going to be divine love, light, intelligence shining through these realms? You would qualify everything that comes through you. This is part of that requalification of the lower levels too, so that they can transform. The ego starts to support the collective interest instead of personal interest. The mind comes out of looping thought forms and patterns and starts aligning with higher mind. The emotions get out of the flotsam of the past and repeating patterns and evolves and ascends into this consistent feeling state of the I am presence. And we practice that by fostering conscious communication that seeks unity, that seeks solutions, and really considers the needs of everyone. Beautiful. Next practice, family, monads, friends, soul groups. I know that they're going through a breaking apart and ascension, right? So that doesn't mean you're divorcing your entire soul group. It means there's a unification happening, a purification happening. So you're not going to travel in the way that you used to. You don't walk through as different family members any longer. That structure is actually has been gone for some time. And the same is happening with a monad or soul group, right? You're starting to make new agreements to express the I am presence. So different fractals start to unify, right? Start to group different soul groups based on the oversoul, the I am presence, start to lift and coagulate and cohere and come together. Beautiful, synchronize, right? So as you witness challenges with family, friends, monads, again, you don't have to reject of never speaking to them again. That's not what it's about, right? Neutrality, care, but don't carry. Soul paths and experiences are different, beloveds. They're not all going to be the same. That doesn't even make sense in the infinite fractals of creation that is source. No two fractals alike. So soul paths and experiences are different. The nuance in our journeys is as vast as source itself. As monad and soul groups dissolve contracts and incarnational groups and honor each other's choices and hold the frequency of unconditional love. This allows others to honor your journey, and it works, beloveds. I am witness to this. Next practice, focusing on the outcome of ascension of the entire monad or relationships, releasing attachment to the way things were, talking about monads, family, friends, employers, co-creators, other people that you interact with. Just releasing any attachment to the way it was. Releasing expectations that it's going to be the same, because it's not. Those realities literally do not exist unless you empower them with your own energy. So release the attachment to the way it was or what your ego mind wants to unfold. Oh, Sandra's transforming her whole family and friends. I want to do that too. It's lovely to hold that, but I have to say, I'm not trying to change anyone. I am trying to change my heart so that it becomes a stronger conduit and letting God Source take over the journey, right? So completion is widespread. Individual needs and monad goals dissolve as separation dissolves, identity dissolves, unity amplifies. So we balance our heart desires with Source's desire for the expansion rather than the contraction. And if you might want to review that presentation on the inorganic versus organic realities that I have on YouTube, so you can kind of feel into what that new creation feels like. Or in November, we're going to be going to heart first into a new way of creating our experience, which is lovely. So sometimes in our journeys, in this breaking apart of friendships or family or soul groups, the oversoul actually creates some space. It needs some space. So if you're not getting the payoff, the mental or emotional payoff of resolution, perhaps someone else in your soul group or this collective unity consciousness is actually has already done, right? Perhaps you're done and you can feel that. You're like, wow, I'm complete. And it's not because they're wrong, they're choosing another path. Be very neutral about honoring other people's choices as we walk through this. Another wonderful suggestion is having patience. And I'm talking about cosmic mother level patience with this whole thing. I know the energies can cause anxiety if your nervous system is a little fried already. You're going to feel heart palpitations, anxiety. The vagus nerve is just whoosh, super stimulated and amplified during this time. So have patience, especially with yourself, because the external is always a reflection of what's going on. The collective energies of the shift can cause confusion and fatigue, both to you and all the different expressions on the planet. That makes it easy for people to misinterpret things, misinterpret themselves, misinterpret narrative changes, misinterpret cosmic activity, misinterpret a change in relationship, misinterpret the way they feel, or fall into distortion a lot of the time out of habit. Transparency, again, key, another key practice to divine neutrality. True transparency requires sharing your core truths with while respecting others' choices. So in neutrality, communicate with compassionate language and constructive dialogue. Those of you who have studied nonviolent communication probably have like a little bit of a leg up on this. Divine neutrality takes it many steps further than nonviolent communication ever did. But if we can have constructive dialogue rather than constrictive, that really helps creating realities that benefit the whole, while honoring your own journey, seeking resolution of past distortions, duality, and polarization through compassion and unity rather than conflict is the thing. We are all learning how to resolve conflict without resolve all our issues and our problems without creating conflict all the time, right? It's different. So transparency helps. It disarms duality. It disarms conflict. When you're like, well, I'm just going to express how I feel. It doesn't matter how it lands, right? But if it comes out with compassionate kindness, that level of transparency supports our heart and our fields in getting more neutral, because it's not loaded with you need to hear me in order to create a certain result, right? We keep our eyes on the prize of the result of light and love, but not trying to control people or control outcomes or needing them to respond in a certain way, right? Uh, a note on exhaustion and confusion. The intense frequencies of the shift can cause exhaustion, which clouds your judgment and leads to poor communication sometimes. So even when you disagree with someone, communicate from a place of love and neutrality or step away, ensuring that your message is constructive rather than dismissive or destructive or constrictive, right? Divine neutrality practice, sensing resistance. Sadness and suffering are often symptoms of resisting the present moment or rejecting difficult conditions. So neutralize the fear of present or future outcomes, noticing where's there resistance in your field, in your heart, in the emotions, and just have a little perspective shift. Consider how sometimes the separation, we all know that the separation programs are backfiring in this now, right? The trying to double down on separation is not working. So we can encourage unity and knowing that we are returning to balance and to a higher vibrational state that's in unity consciousness. Sometimes on that path, you're going to find sadness presenting. It is what it is. And sometimes I have to say, as someone with a very neutral heart that has reconnected with the I am presence, you're able to observe sadness just as it is what it is, right? Oh, I still have a little resistance to what is, and then not judging it at all. Sometimes like, just feeling it and not projecting it on the collective. Oh, it's the collective going through it. Sometimes it's just Gaia. Sometimes, sometimes it's Cosmic Mother just wants to kind of hold a feeling, right? Like, oh, this, and a lot of times it's stuff going away, right? There's a departure kind of energy that we might feel. But if we don't resist the present moment or reject difficult conditions or situations or whatever, and again, non-judgment really helps with that sadness or that resistance that we feel, and assists in getting us into the divinely neutral state that can feel things but not embody them, right? We can feel them and make higher choices in the moment. I'm going to spend some time in nature. I'm going to stop pushing. I'm going to stop resisting and just feel what I'm feeling and be okay with it. That's how you neutralize things, right? Regarding global issues, hold the highest outcome for the benefit of the whole. Just examine any confirmation bias when it comes up, any of your beliefs that come up or that you're witnessing in the collective, right? Just hold the highest outcome for all. Watch for wanting to control outcomes. Just hold the highest outcome, peace, unity, freedom, etc. And uh, try not to override source divine will with your own consciousness, right? The more you focus on heart emanation and thy will be done instead of personal will, the better. Avoid letting fears based on past experiences or, again, your confirmation bias to influence your journey, right? Plan and take action from love, not fear, and prepare for unity. A lot of that preparing for unity is allowing space for rest. There is a lot of energies and a lot of decisions, and especially if you're going through a neutralization of the way that you used to be and a changing of the heart center, allow space for rest, understanding why others made their choices without assuming negative causes or agendas. People are often confused and exhausted by the shift's energies. which affect their DNA and their consciousness, and exhaustion is not an ideal state for making wise decisions, beloved. So allow yourself to step back, allow yourself rest in the stillness where there are no decision making, right? Allow yourself to just integrate. And divine neutrality practice, DNA activation, I have to say, strand field 9 activation is so key. Now, that is the strand in the field, strand field 9, is where when that is turned on, you can no longer create distortion. That's that mastery level, right? That lovely clicking into that being consistent. So duality or any kind of conflict like no longer affects you, and a lot of you are feeling that. So if you can call that forth and decree it forth and practice your crystalline DNA activation, that really supports divine neutrality, because as that, you can't amplify, turn on one strand without lighting up the whole thing. It works together. So a real amplification of your DNA assists. It really, you'll find there's no desire to judge. It just goes away. No desire to fix the other person, to engage, have to comment. You have to see it my way. You can't create distortion any longer, which simply means you can't disqualify or distort the light coming through your vessel, coming through your heart any longer. It's quite beautiful. When you feel that state, amplify it. Pay attention. Yes, body. Thank you, consciousness. Thank you, I am presence. I'll have more of that. Let me feel that consistently. Purify and divinitize it over and over again. And please practice with everything that we have learned this year. Star presence. And, connecting with star presence assists with divine neutrality because they're in that state already. Mother plasma, one of the strongest examples of divine neutrality, is that cosmic mother plasma state. And the more you can connect with her, the more you can connect with that plasma that's already here, it will support your journey. Connect with that new plasma that's coming in and that's literally swirling around in our fields right now. There's actually a measurable thing happening that I mentioned before in the fields. It's actually gaining energy and becoming visible to some instruments, which is interesting. It is what it is. But connecting with that, connecting with practicing heart magnetics, crystalline DNA, the infinite Christ field, connecting with that. And of course, nature, to allow ourselves to do the organic thing with this ascension process. Okay, beloveds, we're going to walk through and exercise step by step through neutralization, divine neutrality exercise. So drop into the heart. Just put your hands on the heart center and really connect with the intention to shift the heart magnetics, to shift the heart's energy field, to fully receive and amplify 0-point source love light intelligence, and to flow that forth through divine connection to the I am presence. Just light up the crystalline DNA. Light up your fields. Feel that infinite expansion. Beautiful. Now, holding that core intention of your ascension, just going to neutralize right here. We want to get in the habit of this practice. Now, even though it's going to take us a little bit step by step, you're going to notice once you entrain your fields and your heart and your consciousness to operate from that I am presence level consistently, you'll notice its ease and grace. Everything happens very quickly. It does self-correct, but you'll notice even the step-by-step process gets a lot faster. So we're just going to walk through so everyone knows, feels, comprehends exactly what this feels like. So whenever there's a conflict or a judgment or negativity arises, even if you want to work on something personal right now, when you feel entangled or influenced to react, if you feel a fear-based, negative, or judgmental reaction to an external event or internal choices or circumstance or a person or a point of view, pause with the intention to learn, resolve, neutralize, transmute, and shift to heart presence. Just pause with intention, right? Because we're neutralizing those core patterns so that the flow changes. Beautiful. So you halt the disharmonious flow because it's just a trained, like a muscle, it's just trained to do that. It's a pathway, neurons firing off, doing what they do, right? We are shifting to a whole different kind of solar, cosmic, Christed, crystalline plasma flow. So when we pause with intention in the moment, no matter what it is, halt the disharmonious flow, thoughts, nervous system, you can literally say, stop, hold on. Feeling that distorted frequency, just harmonics playing a bad chord through you. You stop, breathe, touch the heart. Shh, right? Quiet the mind. Just quiet all that external reality and the mind chatter. Shh. I literally say shush, right? Shh. Witness what your body is feeling, what it has learned to create, right? You've trained it to do one thing. You're just going to pause the flow. Hold on. Thank you. Always with gratitude. Thank you. Okay. Touch your heart, your source point. First step, body, mind, emotions, ego. Feel it, then pause and stop the old energetic flow and just witness it. Just be aware of your creation. Feel how that light pattern has been memorized. It is what it is. Step 2, heart-based inquiry, out of the mind and into the heart. First and foremost, what does this have to do with my journey? Much of what we are presented with or think about or get anxious about or told to be afraid of has nothing to do with our journey, with our ascension. Your attention is valuable, especially in acceleration, and lower distractions are abundant. So most of the time, the answer to the question, what does this have to do with my journey? Most of the time, it's not dualistic, good or bad or right or wrong. Most of the time, it's none of my business, right? That's a beautiful, neutral place to be. So if it's applicable to your journey, you move forward. If it's not applicable to your journey, you can let it go, right? And move forward with neutralizing what's happening in the body when it gets stimulated like that. Step 3, breathe in 0 point. Let's all do that together right in this now. Quiet the thoughts to 0 point stillness, out of the illusion and into divine truth. Source, witness this, feel this. Really being a witness to your creation. Just feel it. Step 4, unify with the divine I am presence. We've been learning how to do that. So if you just connect, not up there, out there, but really letting the presence just kind of engulf, enfold the entire heart center and just come forth. Welcome forth, my I am presence. And address the I am presence as highest version of self, higher wisdom. What is the highest choice or action of unity, love, and peace in this now moment? Just tap in, just feel. Is the I am presence providing a message or saying, really has nothing to do with your journey? This is nothing, right? Just witness it, just feel it. Feel whatever it is the I am presence is providing. Maybe it just wanted your attention, so you drop into the heart center and amplify source love light intelligence, right? Just feel it. What is the highest choice? And if you are attempting to make a choice about what I should do in the situation, la la la, what is the highest choice or action? Is it just to be more love? Is it to take action? Is it trying to see the higher perspective? Step 5, expand to higher perspective. The multidimensional view. Let us not forget that we are multidimensional beings. Step back, feel, witness, sense the higher outcome of what is best for all concerned. Just working from that wisdom, strand field 9, turn on, light up without any distortion from cosmic perspective, pure heart, love, light, intelligence. What is truth? What is applicable? What is love, light, intelligence? What is source informed wisdom in this now moment? Just let it present. Step 6, open to divine will. Unity consciousness, Christ consciousness, again, is a very different state of being. Feel the inclusive state of divine unconditional love, expansion, right use of life force, compassion, non-judgment. What is in the highest interest of source? It's always going to be love, peace, unity, freedom for all. Just need to feel it, beloveds. Just feel it. Step 7, feel unconditional love and gratitude for the situation, for this person, for this feeling. Again, it's a very strong neutralizing force, is feeling love and gratitude for everything, for what you're going through, for everything. Your higher presence is grateful to have this experience, regardless of circumstances of the lower self. Feel love and gratitude for the situation. That starts to neutralize it, get you out of duality. Feel it. Wow, what a blessing. So honored to have this experience. Regardless, right? Non-judgment. Regardless of what it is. Thank you. Not going to embody it. Thank you. Step 8, honor in the moment, personal or collective paths. We want to be inclusive, honor the uniqueness of all paths to ascension and all soul journeys. All is one, all is light. Taking this into consideration as we make higher choices, as we employ divine neutrality. Step 9, neutralize. Now we're going to transmute in Christ's light, redirect the light to be in alignment with our heart's natural state, source, love, light, intelligence, present state. We might flip the flow if it was going in a different direction in our body or feeding lower levels. We decide, choose, flip the flow to higher Christ itself flow, I am presence flow, expansion, freedom, transforming dense heaviness into light. If you've done this exercise with us before, a lot of times stuff lands in the solar plexus. Pull it out of the solar plexus, hold it in front of you. Don't embody it. Don't reject it. Use everything up to this step. Neutralize. I call forth the infinite power of divine Christ light. Neutralize and transmute all this density or distortion back into pure source love, light, intelligence, infinite, radiant light. And you can return it back to the creator, back to its creator, back to source, letting it go, neutralizing, and then coming back to yourself. Gonna have to amplify and expand. So step 10, amplify and expand, heart center, new magnetic, right? Free through that positive charge of love and gratitude. Feel that higher vibration, power of Christ flowing from the heart. Feel the new magnetic in your heart flowing that love. After you've been through all those steps, this is the thing, right? We want to amplify that heart frequency. Make sure it's like retraining the fields, retraining the heart to follow that new flow. This is my desired outcome, right? Higher trajectory, unity, call it forth from source, redirect, purify all your flows through the heart, purify the body, purify the mind, emotions, ego, train them to follow the new flow. I am infinite love, light, intelligence. Beautiful. Heart center change to positive, pure heart magnetics, fully supporting infinite I am presence. Thank you. Step 11. Decree or state this new state, your resolution, your solution out loud, whatever the new is, right? We want to state, this is my new state of consciousness. This is my desired state of consciousness. So use a decree, state your intention. Thank you. So it is. Use your decrees in that now moment to do that. We'll get into a couple in a moment. Step 12 is to actualize or physicalize that higher choice, that higher energy, that neutral, open Christ presence. And you want to physicalize it, right? You want to express it. All of us are transforming these realms by the physicalization of that presence. So if it's something that needs to be said, something that needs to be resolved, you need to employ and activate those higher choices in a physical way, right? From all this divine neutrality, expressing that clear heart. So some kind of physicalization, whether it's through art or communication, a phone call, a message, whatever it is, whatever the situation is, or even just expressing love and gratitude that you've come out of, you've elevated, ascended yourself to a new level. It needs to be physicalized, light grounded in some way. And then you set forth light, doing this many times a day. Set forth light for ease, grace, neutrality, resolution, and the complete transmutation of any density or duality. Thank you. So it is. Higher levels, just step forth. Christ itself, just step forth in this new light. Fully anchor, stabilize, amplify it through all of my consciousness. Beautiful. And then, because you're going to feel lighter, and because you always want to celebrate your victories, celebrate your divine neutrality victories. And even though victories sounds like some kind of power trip or whatever, you want to celebrate your heart. Your heart has just moved on, opened up. You've changed your fields. You've literally changed your DNA. If you're doing it properly and consistently, you're going to feel, wow, my thoughts don't go there anymore. My ego doesn't go there anymore. My emotions, everything's gone. All the lower constructs are gone. And now I am employing and empowering these higher light intelligence, my true self, to really take over the journey. So journal your transformative moments, get out in nature, flow gratitude, do a little ceremony, Divine team, I am presence, source, and of course, share it with the collective, right? Energetically or one-on-one or group. Like, wow, I just, you don't have to describe what it is because go back to square one, but you're just like, wow, I'm just feeling so much freer. Anybody else coming upstairs with me? This is beautiful, right? And just celebrate that, right? And express the freedom of expression. It's beautiful. But we do want to celebrate when you notice that something has changed. Even if you don't go through all the steps and your heart is going on autopilot and you're noticing like, I didn't have to worry about that at all. Notice and celebrate. Oh, thank you. Because of course the universe and the energy is going to give you more of, of that, right? It's going to emphasize whatever you focus on, beloveds. So with practice, we feel the truth for you, the truth for the collective, the truth for source, for the I am. We feel really aligned with service, right? Service as presence. And then we can take action on the things as that presence in the moment, ready for anything, ready to be the presence and make good choices all the time. And it does get quicker. You might have to process some things, but the process becomes instantaneous, right? It just really becomes a very 0 point action with practice, but you do have to employ the practices, beloveds. So practice, feel the truth of things that challenge you. Feel the truth of things that challenge you. It's not going back to old school emotional clearing any longer. This is completely different. So you can neutralize all the stuff that's in the field, and not just by not giving it your attention, but also by being a conductor of that higher Christ energy. And you can aim that higher Christ energy at like take care of the low vibe conversations or the fearful things that present even in your communities or in the collective. Let's just completely neutralize and dissolve through the power of this presence, through the power of the Christed heart, source, love, light, intelligence. Neutralize any fear or distortion around, oh, just pick anything. 3 days of darkness, landings, savior or martyr circumstances, solar flash, war, politics, relationships, family, friends, self-judgment, earth changes, geomagnetic excursion, all the stuff that causes all the static in the field all the time, that keeps like trying to throw itself out there and gain energy. Neutralize, because if you neutralize it for yourself, you are in service to the collective as always. And then just send it forth. Shh. Neutralize. All is love, all is light, all is ascending. So it is. I do, I'm going to go over, loves. I want to just, there's notes in the book that I'm creating on divine neutrality about communication, especially in wayshowers. So I want to just quickly go through a few tips for clear communication. Lead with unity. How we talk about ascension is changing. You may have noticed how bored you get with some conversations right now, or and that boredom is beautiful. It's not judgment. If you're just like, oh, I actually desire a different kind of communication, a different way of expressing myself. So leading with unity now, and drop all your judgment about being a leader, because there are still people needed to say, let us go in this direction, or amplify this, or talk about ascension in a different way. Always constructive versus constrictive, not fear-based or fear-laced, right? Don't hint at something just to be titillating, or trying to be sensationalize every single energetic shift that happens. That's just, you'll see a lot of people getting bored with that. But remember that our communication is leveling up, right? That strengthens this heart presence, the new way of communicating that all of us are going through right now. So just watch negativity expresses in very subtle ways, right? Violence, conflict, negativity expresses in very subtle ways sometimes, especially through speech, vibration, and subconscious actions of the mind, ego, emotions, body can get physicalized or projected out there. So watch your messages, watch what's coming through. Right? We always want to, even when you receive messages, and this is a practice that I've done forever, is I always ask for, well, what's the higher thing, or what's the, explain something to me. Don't just tell me I'm love all the time. Got that, right? Like, go for the higher messages that are coming in this now moment. They've been coming in for a while, but there's a higher level, higher mind, right? Higher I am presence that is attempting to express through us. And if we kind of kick back and go into comfort of, well, this is what people expect or whatever, you really have to kind of push for a higher level of communication. And watch for which destiny you are attuned to, as a lot of stuff is getting thrown in the field right now. So it's like, well, maybe I don't want to tether myself to that outcome or that experience. That's where divine neutrality can really help, because then you start to feel, well, what is I am presence? What is source really asking for? Or cosmic mother? And don't make assumptions about what you're receiving if it's kind of using the old constructs of mind or whatever to receive. You want to go beyond that, really open up the heart so that the new magnetic actually creates an antenna to higher realms of expression and Gaia and the ascended realms. Beautiful. So give perspective without advocating for support or seeking acceptance. Just a way to watch all the wiggly ways that sometimes our subconscious or our desires or polarization can slip into conversation. Staying neutral in your communications is very helpful for our own path, as well as way showing others how we walk through this. Um, Facing the risks of authenticity in the echo chamber of the new age I've talked about before, or disclosure conversations or whatever. There's a bit of a risk. You got to trust yourself and trust your heart that your expression and your dedication to love is the ultimate thing, and that all the lower agendas will indeed dissolve. So you can be authentic, not judgmental, and just show up in conversation. And of course, be a responsible creator. Embrace our role in creating the new and own your creations and your experiences. Everything that you touch in these realms is affected by source when you're an open conduit. For interactions, heart listening, just being the present, being the presence, focusing on what they're saying. Don't interrupt. Don't plan your response or be distracted. That's not heart awareness. Heart awareness is just being presence with people. That doesn't mean you have to suffer every conversation. It's just when there's a moment to really connect at a heart level, or when people, when you can witness that people want to have that kind of conversation with you, be present for that conversation. Really take advantage of it, right? And then be authentic too. When the conversation is complete or when it's starting to wander, you pull it back to heart presence. Empathy in communication, see the other side, ask, don't assume, be fair, kind, eyes on the highest outcome, ask questions. Socratic is so effective, so that people can actually kind of uncover their own truth instead of just listening to yours, right? Authenticity, be vulnerable, share honestly when it's appropriate, right? We don't want to create more conflict, but we also don't want to shrink and not be heard. That's not what it's about. Just be authentic. And that's always like uh, leading with, in my experience, what I have learned. Well, let me just share something that I've learned, or let me share something that changed my perspective on this situation. Or again, asking questions, employ neutrality, speaking from non-judgment, breaking the old patterns, framing things positively, especially in relationships that you would like to keep, family, friends, etc. Those in your inner circle that are leveling up with you or have the desire to change, make sure that there's appreciation and praise that they are trying, encouraging others, giving perspective without advocating for support, as I said earlier. And just offering for the sake of contribution sometimes can be helpful. Transparency, letting people know how you serve, beloved wayshowers. Your gifts, your process, share your knowledge, and not from this is the way it is. You have to listen to me. It's just open sharing. Establish that relationship, like what I have with the light letter, is a very intimate share of just what's going on, what I'm receiving, that kind of thing. And it's never like you have to do this or you won't ascend. I never say that. Um, Integrity, be honest and ethical, the inclusive, unified state that respects all journeys. Just really pull that into your communication. Of course, I will expand on that in the chapter on divine neutrality, but it was just needed of all these things. I was like, oh, it's going to go long. They're like, communication right now, because we are in such a rapid unfoldment of things that might get confusing for a lot of people. And the more you can practice expressing yourself from a heart-based point of view and instantly neutralizing when people want to go in a different direction with you. You don't have to participate in that at all. But if you, open the door to the heart or witness, again, allow them to witness their own light because you're being that light, can really change the collective and assist people as we go through this acceleration, which might be confusing for a lot of people. There's a lot of energies and plasma. And yes, there's cosmic activity that is our day-to-day experience now, but there's also the effect that the light has on realities gets quite strong.